Hey guys, Celeste here. I'm between massages, so I'm hot, I'm alive. Kahuna is just my life. But I thought to just jump on. Hopefully you can hear me because there's even a mower outside. But I just wanted to share a message that I had last night. And you may know that message is always about perhaps something, some guidance, some kind of thing that we need to just pay attention to. Either it's information or a next step or just to share. And it's not always for me. I had a specific inclination also that this message may be for maybe for some of you. So hence I'm sharing. So as I was last night, I was doing kind of my own thing in a meditative state, and I was asking my higher self, my guides, for particular information, a particular sign. And when I say particular, I was quite specific in how I wanted it to look, not what the outcome needs to be, but the way I phrased, the way I wanted this guidance. And when I say quite specific and that's something that many of us probably don't take into account, that it's all about how you interact, even with your guys, even as in a spiritual way. The same as we set the tone for a conversation with a friend or with a partner, with anybody, in the same way we can set the tone with our guides, and certainly it doesn't always have to be this whole spiritual seriousness of, hey, now we're at a state and it's all woo-ha, it's all very serious. Hey, it can be a bit lighthearted. So I was actually bringing in quite a bit of humor, but I said, what I really would like is to have, and it doesn't matter what the details were around the particular issue I needed guidance on, but I sort of set the T's and C's. Almost, you know how when you set a contract and there's certain conditions that you stipulate of what needs to be done, how people need to interact, all the small print. And in as much as, of course, a message guidance, it doesn't always come the way we want it, and not to attach. In the same way, we still can show up and basically, set the tone for this. So that's what I did, knowing that the more T's and C's, it's like any contract. The more you stipulate, the more it is, I guess, precise, more it is refined, and the more it is limited as well. So knowing that even though I was very specific, I would have liked to see it not in a certain way, but I would have liked to, I specified what kind of signs would be good for me. In the same breath, I knew that the more I specified, of course, the more I limit myself, but I was okay to do that last night. And here's actually the message. That's not the message. The message that came through was very much that, because I was aware that I'm limiting myself. I was aware that I probably don't. So here's the thing. So I'm asking for something, and I wanted to be very, I sort of excluded what I don't want. You know, when you state a contract and you basically say, instead of saying what it is, I'd rather say what it's not. So I was sort of in that frame. I said, I wouldn't like to see this, I wouldn't like to see that. And I started asking myself the question, why? And I fully realized it was because the stuff that I didn't want to see in terms of the guidance, or didn't want to know about it, was perhaps the stuff that I didn't feel quite ready. Call it fear, doesn't matter, it's besides the point. It was certain aspects that I said, no, I'm not quite ready for this, and this, ready for this. Now, this may sound very restrictive, and that's the message. The message is that you can set the tone, you can set the T's and C's, the conditions, as long as you know that that's the limitation. But here's the powerful part. Any conditions, any contract you make with yourself, with your guides, any of that, you can change it at any time. And that was quite powerful to me. when, although I knew it, and I said, no, this didn't want like this, I would like to, and you know, it sounded like very pedantic. And then I said to myself, hey, I can change it in 5 minutes. I can change it in an hour's time. I can set the tone and I can change my conditions, basically the conditions, all the contracts, all the agreements that I've had for my life, that I've had for a particular issue, that I've had for whatever way, whether I have for my business, for making money, for interacting with partners, all of those for many lifetimes back. I can change the contract. I can change the stipulations. And as we go through a process, we can decide, hey, hang on, I'm limiting myself too much. I mean, you be the judge of that. You'll be honest. You need to be honest and say, am I now being too pedantic? Am I being too emasculine? This is what it needs to look like. And limiting myself. Or am I opening myself more, knowing that that's more freedom, but knowing either way, I don't have to buy into this is how it is, because we actually buy into contracts and conditions and stipulations, guidelines, rules of our life. We're actually, even with my guides, I make an agreement with him, a contract. This is contract. Even with soul contracts, you can change it at any time. Now remember, the whole idea is, because now people may ask, but hey, if you can just change any way of doing it, then I mean it's quite wishy-washy. And that's also the thing. As we perhaps step more into our, call it your power, I don't know what to say these days. Sometimes, you know, some of these words just sound very yeah, it sort of loses its power when everybody uses the same words. But that whole thing of once you actually step into the higher states of consciousness, the old rules don't necessarily apply. The rules of this is how things need to be, even the rules of contracts. And that's why you can change it, because nowadays or lately, it's not about the particular aspect, it's about hey, I can just go. I don't need a contract. I don't need a contract. I don't need to have stipulations of how do I need to live my life. Whereas in the past, we may have had to have certain guidelines. And when you're in that position where you actually don't need guidelines or rules or structures, that's when you can just go from heart center. However, we're not quite there yet. We're in the life we live, in this earth structure, in the, call it the 3D, 4D, going into 5D, there's certain structures, there's certain agreements that serve us. And it's not to negate that and just step into, oh, love and light, you know, everything's just going to be dandy and roses. It is to understand that we still have certain rules. And at the same time, speaking spiritual is very much physical in this life. But the message is you can change that at any time. So don't ever, and this is the real message, don't ever buy, even for yourself, into old beliefs, old conditions, old contracts, old stories. And although we know it, the message is you can change that the minute that you find that your interaction, you set the tone and you can change that. And that was quite powerful for me last night, because I realized, hey, I'm not setting even if I'm asking for guidance in a particular way, I can change that the whole time. And that really gave me a sense of, wow, then I can look at how it needs to be for me in future, how I can step out of even that limitation without actually selling myself short and say, well, I'm just gonna, you know, because otherwise I set the bar at a certain level where hey, it just doesn't gel for me. And we also have to be honest, and I'm, you know, to me, I'm very much in terms of what is real for me, what works for me, what can I deal with. And yeah, so that really felt strong for me that any contract, any agreement, any condition I set for my life, I set the tone and I can change it. Those 2 points. I set the tone and I can change it. Have a wonderful weekend. It's Friday and yeah, I'm back in Durban. Please like, please subscribe, please share, because as I've explained before, this really helps the algorithms, and it really also shows some, yeah, just your gratitude in that way would be greatly appreciated. So thank you that I can ask, and thank you for listening. Have a great one. Bye for now.